The enlightenment means the realization of the ultimate truth or the ultimate reality within us. Because the entire world that we can see and experience is not outside us, but inside us. According to the Rohitasa Sutta in the Sanyutta Nikaya, where Buddha declared, Vyamatta kalebere panyapimi lokancha. The entire world that we experience, according to that statement, is within our own body, which is about 6 feet. It is because all our experiences are gathered by our sense organs open to the outer world. But we experience the outer world only through the mental images created by the signals given by our sensory organs to the screen of our mind. What appears to be real in the screen of our mind can be called illusions because they look real, but actually those images are not real. They are only illusions. They are only images, not realities. They are only reflections, like a reflection in a mirror. In this sense, realization of this truth, the truth that the entire world that we experience is an illusion. It's just realization of the ultimate reality or truth. But beyond those images, when the mind is free of all mental images, when the mind is empty of its content, the content of our mind means the mental images created by the mind itself. When there are no mental images created in our mind, the mind is empty of its content, the content of mental images. This situation is referred to by the Buddha in his first paean of joy after his enlightenment, where he says, Visankara gatan chitta. The mind became free of mental images created by the mind. Freedom from the creation of mental images. As I said, the mental images that look real but actually not real. The truth is behind those illusions, the ultimate truth. The first experience of this ultimate truth is referred to by the Buddha in his very first sermon called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, saying, Pubbhesu annustitesu dhammesu chakkung udapadi. Literally, chakkung udapadi means the dawn of the eye. Here, eye is not the physical eye, but the mental eye that we call insight. It is the wisdom of insight. that can experience the ultimate reality. And until we realize that by enlightenment, really enlightenment means the dispelling of darkness. Metaphorically, ignorance of the reality is called darkness. We are in the dark of the reality. Dispelling that darkness is called enlightenment. Buddha referred to this as the dawn of light. In his very first sermon that I refer to as Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Buddha declared this enlightenment as aloko udapadi. They are dawn, the light. Light means the vision of the reality or the ultimate truth. Until then, we experience as realities not the ultimate reality, but the mental images created by our mind. Even the world that we experience, as I mentioned earlier, is not the outside world, but the mental pictures of that image. But those mental pictures, mental images, too are actually not real, because all our sense organs like ear, eye, nose, tongue, etc., that provide our mind with information about the world outside are limited in their capacity to know the truth of their sensory objects. They have only a limited experience of the world, and that experience we may call a distorted experience. And that distorted experience reflected in the mind through our sense organs create the world we experience. As that mental world is not a reality, metaphorically Buddha referred to it as a darkness called ignorance. In Sanskrit, moha andhakara. Moha means ignorance. Enlightenment means the dispelling of the darkness of ignorance. And that is the realization of the ultimate truth within us. This ultimate truth is referred to in the Buddha's language as Nibbana and in Sanskrit as Nirvana. But in his very first sermon called Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the Buddha referred to it as Dukkha Nirodha. Here dukkha means pollution, adulteration. The mind gets adulterated by false information. Partly false information supplied by our sense organs and create mental images in accordance with such limited, distorted, inadequate information supplied by the mind. Enlightenment means going beyond that darkness of ignorance. Here ignorance means ignorance of the reality hidden by the mental images, the world of mental images. Insight is a light, a sight a vision that can penetrate this screen of false mental images. That situation I refer to it as mentioned earlier, Visankara Gatan Chitta, cessation or the formation of mental images, non-creation of mental images. Then mind becomes empty. Buddha referred to it as Sanyutta. The ultimate reality is empty of illusory mental images. This reality cannot be described in words. That is why it's called atakka in Buddha's language. Even the mind cannot experience the ultimate reality. Yet, the mind can experience the outcome of enlightenment, the bliss of enlightenment, the tranquility of enlightenment, the motionlessness of enlightenment. A mind free from vibration, free from motion. That is the ultimate truth. But outside that reality within us, everything, every being in a state of vibration, in a state of changing, in a state of flux, in a state of adulteration, in combination with other things. But ultimate reality is called Parama Vimukti, complete freedom, freedom of non-attachment, not attached to anything, not even to the supreme bliss of enlightenment. And that mind is free from the ignorance called moha, ignorance of the reality. And it doesn't resent what it experiences because it is supreme bliss. Therefore, the ultimate truth or the reality can be realized with the complete eradication of attachment, resentment and ignorance. Attachment means liking. Resentment means disliking. In Buddha's language, attachment or liking is called raga. Resentment or disliking is called dosa. And ignorance of the reality that lead to the attachment and resentment of mental images is called ignorance. It is only through ignorance that we get attached or that we resent our own mental images created by our own mind. That means the ultimate truth or the realization of the ultimate truth or reality is a supreme state within us, a blissful state within us, non-vibrating state within us, no vibration, no motion. No motion means it's called nissarana, free from motion, free from attachment. That is what is meant by Nibbana. Bana means bondage, Ni means the freedom from bondage. Therefore, the ultimate truth or reality within us is the ultimate freedom from ignorance, freedom from attachment, freedom from resentment. That is why the truth is described by the Buddha in the Nirvana Sutta, saying, Ragakkoyo, Dosakkoyo, Mohakkoyo. That is, realization in the truth through the eradication or complete extinction of attachment, resentment, and ignorance of things and beings that we experience through our weak mind based on the wrong information, inadequate information, partial information, distorted information given to the mind by our own sensory organs. That means the entire world that we experience is created by our sensory organs by giving wrong information to our own mind. Realization, this deception, is called enlightenment. That means the dawn of light within us, the light of wisdom, and the dispelling of the darkness of ignorance, or the reality of things and beings that we experience.